Hello.
Hi, Harshal. Good evening.
Evening. Nilesh Chindarkar, Hardankar. Okay, good. Acha, म्हणजे the link is working. And yes, after you called me, I was like, okay, did I tell it properly that we are meeting at 7 o'clock? Then I reposted it. Okay, good. Everybody else can hear me, right?
त्यांचे mics mute आहेत.
तुम्हाला माझा आवाज तर येतोय ना?
Yeah, I can hear you. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, this is Jagdish. How are you?
Hi. काय म्हणताय?
Good, good, good.
अरे हर्षल, हाय हर्षल.
लोक हळूहळू जॉईन होत आहेत अजून.
Oh, wow. There's a big group today.
Yes, हळूहळू जॉईन होत आहेत लोक.
अरे वा. Good,
Good.
good. बापरे.
गाडी चालवत चालवत नका बोलू. Hopefully you are not driving.
नाही मी नाही ड्राईव्ह करत आहेत, प्रताप ड्राईव्ह करते.
Okay, good.
मग आता किती 15 जणांनी काइंड ऑफ रजिस्टर केल्यासारखं होतं ना.
हा तसे होते. Let's see. I think 7:05 ला आपण सुरू करू. 5 मिनिटं देऊ.
Yeah. गाणं एकटे असते तर ते पण जॉईन झाले असते. या युजली ते ओपन करतात मीटिंग.
नमस्कार मंडळी.
नमस्कार नमस्कार.
कोण बोललं त्यांनी दर्शन दिलं तर बरं आहे.
कॅमेरा ऑन करतो. सर लाईट लावायला लागले.
हा नाही
नाहीतरी दिवे लागण्याची वेळ झाली. मी पण आलो.
मग सगळ्यांनी
नाही,
बसून आपलं संध्या करावी की पूजा करावी.
हो, आणि आपल्याला पण दिवेच लावायचेत.
I think Jagdish, you want to start?
I mean, yeah, formally just kind of usually कुठलाही सेशन असला तर जे कोण आपण त्याच्यामध्ये इन्व्हॉल्व आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये युजली गानू काका ओपन करतात सेशन अँड देन whoever is conducting then he proceeds with whatever the agenda of that day. ओके, तर आज आपण आपल्या पहिल्या मीटिंग मध्ये अनाऊन्स केलेले जे काही इनिशिएटिव्ह होते त्यातल्या पहिल्या इनिशिएटिव्हचा मुहूर्त आजचा आहे, जो हर्षल मुळे शक्य झालेला आहे. अँड ऑल द बेस्ट टू हर्षल अँड ऑल द बेस्ट टू अँड वेलकम टू ऑल द पार्टिसिपेंट्स. ओव्हर टू यू हर्षल.
थँक्यू सो
Okay.
मच.
Good evening. अच्छा, तर the whole thing was out of जे काय आपण बोललो त्या दिवशी मीटिंग मध्ये त्याच्यावरनं आय जस्ट वॉन्टेड टू सेट दिस अप आणि कधी लागेल तर वी कॅन ऑल्सो मीट इन द सेम प्लेस. वेनसडे इज युजली ट्युजडे वेनसडे आमचा तसाही ऑफ असतो, सो इट व्हेन्यू इज ऑलवेज अवेलेबल. पण ऑनलाईन इट्स इझियर कारण ट्रॅफिक हल्ली आपल्याला भरपूर लागत असतो आणि the other thing is आता summer मध्ये usually Friday to Monday I think are the worst times to meet because everybody starts doing their summer activities जे आपल्याला anyway आपल्याला 20 आठवडेच मिळतात. त्याच्यात आपण सगळं जे काय करायचं ते करून घेतो. म्हणून नव्हतं. तर anyway this was supposed to be a discussion or a workshop or whatever. Whatever anybody can contribute or they have questions they can go ahead and ask. आणि if somebody is thinking of opening a business, somebody is already running and they want some help, काही taxation, काही local arrangement चे काही कोणा प्रश्न असतील तर विचारावे. याच्यासाठी आपण I just said okay let's have a brief. Just I kept 2 hours. I don't know whether we need to continue for 2 hours, पण जे काय तुम्हाला प्रश्न असतील ते विचारू शकता. If you want to discuss, you want to see how to take it forward, well and good. So I think the forum is open for everybody. I think everybody is on mute.
Yeah, I don't know who wants to go first.
Go ahead, go ahead.
मीच जाऊ का?
Go ahead.
So no, it's good. I mean, when I saw the the notice about the entrepreneurship and health, I was like, okay, is it a planning meeting or I want to be a participant? And I was like, okay, I can be both. So just माझं introduction सांगतो थोडंसं. मी आदित्य जोशी, मूळचा पण आता ठाणे पुणे असं राहतो मी. आणि आउटसाइड इंडिया नाव मी अबाउट 15 इयर्स आहे. US मध्ये होतो थोडे वर्ष आणि आता 6 इयर्स इन कॅनडा. So I'm in the food industry. So that's what I thought. I can also participate if anyone has questions like
Good.
legal requirements, food safety, CFI, FDA, whatever knowledge I have, maybe I can share. So that's one part. Yeah, so mostly manufacturing experience hai maza, and currently again manufacturing supply chain एका पिझ्झा कंपनीसाठी आहे मी करतो. So yeah, so that's one thing. And second one is please reach out any questions, anything like that. And please stop me if you have any questions right now too. Like, I mean, I'm sure it's informal, so please, I would love to have more conversations instead of me just talking.
So one anecdote about food industry, about 70 to 80% of all Canadian food is processed in the 401 area from Windsor to Montreal.
Montreal.
So you have to understand that even though you are getting food in Alberta, it is probably coming from Ontario. So everything comes to Ontario, everything is shipped here, they gets processed, and then it is sent out. So it is the food hub. And yes, and I think that's one of the career paths which very few people take up, especially people who come from India. कारण मला Guelph मध्ये जास्त Indian students दिसत नाहीत जे food industry मध्ये जातात.
Yes.
And I think that is also something. And food will always stay.
Me
People-
food engineering केलंय आणि I know when I started, people are like, why are you becoming chef? I'm like, that's not what it is.
Yes.
So, it's totally different. आता थोडं इंडियात थोडा अवेअरनेस आहे आता, पण वेन आय वॉज स्टुडंट म्हणजे मला कोणते खोळ्यात काढलं टाइप्स, काय करतोय तू, काय चाललंय, काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स. सो एनिवे, बट या 401, yes, we mean rail cars, trucks going east and west, yep,
They all
the
come
time.
from. Yeah.
आदित्य,
All the way to
मूळचा कुठला
Vancouver.
म्हणलं तू?
Sorry,
मूळचा कुठला म्हणलं तू? ते मिस झालं.
मिरज, सांगली,
मिरज, सांगली,
मिरज.
मिरज. ओके.
Yes. So yeah, actually over the years thinking की काय एखादा बिझनेस चालू करायची इच्छा होतीच ऑलवेज. सो यु नो सारखं डोक्यात एक होतंच. आणि लास्ट इयर आय स्टार्टेड रिसर्चिंग and finally like this year launched a business. So we are making Indian flavor soda, like carbonated beverages, in cans. So it's a देसी पॉप म्हणून आता आम्ही ब्रँडला नाव ठेवलंय सध्या तरी.
They're selling here or in India?
Here. We make it
Okay.
here. We tried a lot to reduce the colors, reduce the additives. It's very difficult. कारण इंडियातले भरपूर flavors, syrups, everything comes with additive or a so getting a pure or reducing them is being challenged. We are still trying. So
Okay.
आता आमचे तीन flavors आहेत.
Very good.
And again, we literally just launched. So
So you as in you yourself, you own the
मी,
company?
माझी
or-
वाईफ आणि आमचे 2 फ्रेंड्स आहेत. सो
Oh,
चौघं
very
मिळून.
good. अरे
Nice.
कुठे आहे? दाखवा. कॅन कुठे
ती
आहे?
आता जस्ट तिकडे आत गेली. वो बोलत तिला.
नाही नाही कॅन मला तिला नाही
ओ,
बघायचं.
मला
अरे,
काही
can.
एक मिनिट.
प्रॉडक्ट बघू दे रे बाबा. बायकोला नाही बघायचं तुझ्या. That was a controversial statement.
नाही, मी वाईफला पण बोलवेन, असं काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही.
She is welcome, but all I intended to see was the product.
So आता आमचे अगेन आम्ही वी मेड व्हेरी लो, कारण अगेन व्हेरी शॉर्ट, वी आर मेकिंग इन द कमर्शियल किचन अँड ऑल दॅट. सो
Oh, good.
कोकम आमचं सोल्ड आउट झालं. सो वी डोंट हॅव एनी
Very
कोकम
nice.
लेफ्ट. So
Nice.
one flavor is kokum. Second one is
Blurry दिसतंय
जरा
actually.
मागे घे. It's out of focus. अरे वा.
so
अरे वा.
vetiver.
Vetiver.
Vetiver
Okay.
म्हणजे खस
खस.
वाळा.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Good.
So we made
So how much do you sell it for?
आम्ही आता इंट्रोडक्टरी 299 प्राइस विचारताय ना?
हा.
299, but I think our target is frankly 350 or 349.
Okay.
Mhm.
And this is
And that's
500 ml or 350?
350 standard Coke can 12
Okay.
ounce. And here this is the third flavor, आवळा.
अरे वा. Good. वाह,
Yes.
एकदम सिंह गर्जना. Garje Marathi should sponsor for every event. We should have that. अरे मग त्या ह्याला you should कुठे आपल्या न्यू जर्सीला you should bring it over. You should set up a stall if they are allowing that.
Yeah, right now, so आमचा आता, I mean, these are the things I want to actually talk and ask, right? Like, so आम्हाला, one of the challenges we had is obviously, canned product, right? So you need
Okay.
specific equipment. I mean, again, it's not sustainable to make at home or, like a commercial kitchen by hand. It takes a lot of time and a lot of efforts. So we want to try co-manufacturers, right?
Okay, so I can give you a reference. My
Yeah.
very close friend, he works at Cisco, SYSCO. But
Yeah.
before that, he used to work at Rubicon.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he knows all about the beverages and how it is done, and he's been here for 22 years. But I can
that's
give you his reference. आणि त्यांना तू भेटू शकतोस and he'll give you some inputs about it. He knows a lot about local industry and how it is. He also worked with the raw products manufacturer of Tim Hortons also. So he knows all this contract manufacturing.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, आम्हाला actually मिळालंय इथे कॅनडात को मॅन्युफॅक्चरर अँड आमची नेक्स्ट स्टेप तीच आहे. तर आम्ही होपफुली नेक्स्ट 3 weeks 2 weeks विल मेक इट अ कमर्शियल बॅच.
Good. Excellent.
So yeah.
आपल्याला म्हणजे खस्त like you can have it properly. Good. आणि are you launching this in India?
नाही आता नाही. Just Canada right now.
India मध्ये आहे
आम्हाला-
त्याचे like do you have similar products in India?
नाही दिस इज जस्ट हिअर.
तुमची मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग युनिट कुठे आहे? GTA और
नाही अच्छा तर को मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग इथे ओटावा जवळ आहे.
हो ओटावा. ओके.
So yeah, I mean anything local, whatnot, we are well. I mean we are looking for current. One of the challenge we faced is a lot of co-manufacturers. They want big volumes, and I can't commit at this time, like this level, because I'm self-funded and all that. So आम्हाला the lowest जो मिळालाय, that company can make us like 1,500 cans per flavor.
That's a lot of inventory you'll have to carry.
That's still a lot, but yeah, luckily one thing is it's 1 year shelf life once we make in the commercial. So
Okay.
shelf life ahe, there is no cold storage required.
Oh.
It's ambient storage, so
Good.
that is a saving point. Yeah, so
किती दिवस झाले चालू करून?
2 आठवडे 3 आठवडे.
हो ओके.
Oh, very nice. Good.
प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट करून VC वगैरेचा विचार आहे का नाही?
आहे, yes, आहे.
अच्छा ओके.
The goal is, and again, please help me with this. It's all I'm trying and with my friends and just the what we are thinking is की आता हे बनवायचे about 4,000 cans, right? 3 flavors, 1,500 cans each. Then have that inventory and then start like just focus energy on selling. Just reach out to restaurants, reach out to grocery stores, reach out. Just start spreading the word out, and then start getting some revenue out of it, or at least the name out of it. Maybe make even more, and then yes, reach out, because what I understand, like the game, there is no like the profit margin is slim. So how
That's
you make
because you're
money-
making in small batches. That's
right? No,
otherwise-
even big, exactly. It's a volume game. You have to make it big numbers to get the money you want. Otherwise, it's a very time-consuming business with less money.
No, it's all about marketing and getting the volumes up. Good. No, excellent. And Bagu, like whatever we can, all of us can help out. But yeah, I can put you in touch with that. And the other thing is, तुम्हाला हे मिळतात का? म्हणजे, are you going to all the events?
We are right now, our energy is focused on making the product commercial, and then we are trying to get into events. Summer can supply farmers market deadline some गेले आहेत, so I think we have lost that part for this year. But events
Karibana and all these big events. Karibana. So there is Karibana in July, I think. July long weekend. Then you have the Indian Hot and Spicy Festival वगैरे downtown ला असतात. You could take booths there.
Okay.
Then you can, because तुमचं जर का, if there's no cooking, all you need is couple of people and a table. That's it. And then so it's you should do all the events in the summer.
Any contacts on that also we will
just go and then I can let you know, but otherwise it's very straightforward. म्हणजे त्यांचं booth असतं. There is a Karibana festival is the biggest. Then you have then you have the Pride Parade. You should do that also, because Pride Parade la you will get all these vegan people and all that with the LGBTQ crowd. So that you should do. You have your July 1st whatever आपला Canada Day चा ह्याला असतो ना. Nathan Phillips Square ला असतो, म्हणजे with all the people around. तिथे पण booths are like बरेच असतात. So you can pick up a booth, just set it up. So you should do a lot this summer.
टेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया फेस्टिवल पण असतो राईट
हा
तिथे
बरेच असतात म्हणजे नियरली एव्हरी वीकेंड फ्रॉम नाव ऑनवर्ड्स आता मे लॉंग वीकेंड इज द स्टार्टअप फ्रॉम मे लॉंग वीकेंड टिल सप्टेंबर एंड you will have booths like you'll have to keep somebody nearly full time. Even the exhibition place la for 2 weeks you get a captive audience.
Yeah.
And like you should see whether you can set up a small booth there also.
Okay.
Yeah,
ते
the best
टेस्ट
part
ऑफ
is you have
इंडिया
only this 20 weeks to do everything.
ते मी काय म्हणत होती आदित्य ते टेस्ट ऑफ इंडिया मध्ये ना ती एक गुजराती आहे पण ती मुंबईचीच आहे ऍक्च्युली आणि तिथे एक मराठी मुलगा पण होता पण तो आता नाहीये तर मी तुझा रेफरन्स देऊ शकते म्हणजे like,
No, चालेल. Yes. आणि knows like a small manufacturing or someone like in US. आता आमचं US मध्ये पण इच्छा आहे मला launch करायची, but we don't want to make it here and export. I think that's just, I
No,
mean,
US
maybe.
will get a lot more. Only thing is you have to get your formulations and your sourcing properly. You will get contract manufacturing across US. US is much easier than this.
Okay.
I can.
मला again small पाहिजे. I don't want people giving me 1 million or not 1 million, 100,000 cans minimum. Like,
I think this summer you should concentrate on the Toronto market. If you can show that you have really grown and established yourself here, then it's easier to go. Like in winters, do the US part. Don't concentrate too much on both the jurisdictions because there's a lot of logistics involved. Concentrate on your ह्याच्यामध्ये तर get it done की सगळ्या मराठी लोकांना माहिती आहे आणि even the non Marathis they start craving for कोकम सरबत. The real coke म्हणून सांगू शकतोस. Yeah, it's the real cook.
आणि आपल्या इकडे MBM आणि याचे ना मोहिनीचे इव्हेंट्स असतात ना खाद्यजत्रा आणि
Yeah, सगळ्याला you should have a booth.
खाद्य जत्रालाच आमचा बूट होता पहिला तिथेच आमचं पहिलं हे होतं. या
इव्हन मी स्वतः ओंटारिओ कोकणी असोसिएशनचा आहे तर आमच्या इथे इव्हेंट असतात जर तुला इंटरेस्ट असेल तर.
ओके. कुठली असोसिएशन म्हणला तुम्ही?
ओंटारिओ कोकणी असोसिएशन.
Oh, nice. Okay.
त्यांना तर कोकम सरबत लागेच त्यांचाच कोकम कोकणी लोकांचा कोकम.
आणि समिटला येणार आहे का?
समिटला यस प्लॅन आहे 3 आणि 4 ऑगस्ट ना. यस.
हा मग त्याला येणार असेल तर आधी थोडे समजा काही डिटेल्स आम्हाला पाठवले ना तर गानकोकांशी बोलता येईल आणि तिथे ही इज एक्सपेक्टिंग अराउंड 1500 पीपल. ओके. आणि त्याच्यामध्ये बाकी म्हणजे आपले बरेचसे मराठी VCs वगैरे पण त्याच्यामध्ये असू शकतील. तर तिथे इफ यू कॅन maybe bring this product like kind of sponsor 1 can per kind of just idea म्हणजे असं.
ओके.
तर इट विल बी अ लाईक गुड ऍडव्हर्टाइजमेंट आणि म्हणजे एकदम चांगला त्याला स्प्रेड होऊ शकेल आणि म्हणजे फ्युचर प्लॅन मध्ये व्हॉट यू आर थिंकिंग ऑफ US तर तिथे US चेच लोक जास्ती असतील त्यामुळे त्यांच्यापर्यंत ते जाऊ शकेल लगेच ऍक्च्युअली.
Yeah. No, that might be a good platform. Yes.
Good. So think big. Don't limit, but then get all your numbers correct. If you're selling at $2.99, you shouldn't be spending more than 30 to 40 cents.
Yeah.
1/10. Achieve that, and I would say yeah. आणि बाकी जे काय हेल्प आहे whoever knows we will keep website वगैरे आहे ना, just share it with us.
Just we have to do that.
Get a website done. ते पण help पाहिजे असेल तर you can reach out to me. I can get my office to help you out.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just making notes as we are talking.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, चाललंय सध्या. I mean, one other challenge we're learning is the procurement, getting the stuff here, how we do that. That's also a challenge.
Okay.
Again, cost.
First times, cost is there, and first time I would say, first couple of shipments, clear it yourself, bring it to your place yourself. Don't use a broker.
Okay.
Because you will understand everything. I can tell you, like 20 years ago, I brought in solar panels. Nobody knew what to do with it because we were already doing it in solar industry. But the amount of, like, when you go through the whole clearance process, you as a business owner, if you understand every step, then it's much easier to optimize. Like you will understand, ithe asa karta hai, you can reduce the package size, what you could do. So don't go to a broker because they are not interested in your business. They are interested in their business. So first couple of times import it yourself. And it's very straightforward. They help a lot. म्हणजे तू जाऊन जर का even at the port of Toronto, आपल्या एअरपोर्टच्या मागे, you go and sit there, they will even give you full coaching about how to clear it. It's not like India. It's very helpful here.
ऍक्च्युली माझा पण प्रश्न तोच होता पुढे, की तुम्ही आता जसं की तुमच्या कॉलेजमध्ये ते पॉड्स वगैरे इम्पोर्ट केले चायनावरून, तर म्हणजे ते म्हणजे क्लिअरन्स प्रोसेस आणि ही जी प्रोसेस होती त्याबद्दल मला थोडंसं माहिती घ्यायची होती, जसं तुम्ही आता थोडं सांगत होतात. सो माझा प्रश्न ऍक्च्युली पुढचा तोच होता.
So here it's a very straightforward. इथे म्हणजे there are India सारखं it's not onerous. India मध्ये I know I've cleared म्हणजे सोलर पॅनल्स इव्हन इन इंडिया आणि मला माहिती आहे की 3 दिवस कसे जातात अँड ऑल द थिंग्स. हिअर इट्स व्हेरी क्लिअर. तुम्हाला आधीच ते बिल ऑफ लेडिंग वगैरे आलेलं असतं. यू कॅन प्री क्लिअर ऑल्सो आणि इट्स जस्ट अ डिक्सी आणि डेअरीलाच आहेत तिथून. यू कॅन गो प्री क्लिअर इट, फिल अप एव्हरीथिंग. इथं आल्यावर तुम्हाला इफ यू फर्स्ट फ्यू टाइम्स द डेमरेजेस हे ते चार्जेस तुम्हाला वाटतील. But if you have a small package, you should clear it yourself because the classification and all you will understand. And it's just a GST. Once you register your business and you set up your business number for the RC and RT account, you can also do the like the import-export account at the same time with CRA. It's very straightforward. And it typically, there is no duty. There are no duties here other than your GST, which is 5%.
सो आपल्याला डॉक्युमेंटेशन साठी काय काय क्लिअरन्स लागतं, लाईक जीएसटी अकाउंट आणि
जीएसटी अकाउंट इज ते म्हणजे
रजिस्ट्रेशन?
यू गो ऑनलाईन आणि सीबीएसएच्या साईट वरती वगैरे आहे. यू कॅन लुक ॲट इट. आणि मेन थिंग इज इम्पोर्ट एक्सपोर्टचे आय डोंट नो विच सिटी यू आर स्टेइंग. देर आर लॉट्स ऑफ वर्कशॉप्स ऑल्सो यू कुड गो टू वेर दे टीच यू हाऊ टू डू इट. आणि इफ यू वॉन्ट आय कॅन शो यू ऑल द लिंक्स ऑल्सो लेटर. बट यू जस्ट हॅव टू फर्स्ट थिंग इज तुमचा जो प्रोडक्ट आहे त्याचं क्लासिफिकेशन यू हॅव टू सर्च. त्यासाठी तुम्हाला अँड इट्स ऑल ऑनलाईन. यू डोंट हॅव टू गो एनीवेअर.
ओके, सीबीएसईच्या वेबसाईट मध्ये मला सगळं मिळेल.
हो, सीबीएसए आणि इम्पोर्ट इट्स व्हेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. कॅनडामध्ये सगळं काही ऑनलाईन आहे. यू जस्ट हॅव टू फाइंड इट.
क्लासिफिकेशन म्हणजे एचएस कोड यू आर सेइंग, राइट?
हा. सो दॅट
नोट्स करून घेतो.
सो इट्स फक्त तुम्हाला यू शुड हॅव अ बिझनेस नंबर टू इट. अँड तेच म्हणतो फर्स्ट 1 or 2 times क्लिअर इट युअरसेल्फ. यू विल अंडरस्टँड एव्हरीथिंग.
ओके. आणि जसं तुम्ही ते ट्रान्सपोर्टेशन वगैरे पण आपल्याला मॅनेज करायला लागतं ना, फ्रॉम द पोर्ट टू.
Okay, so it depends who's exporting. So let's say you're doing it from India. If you're working with a freight forwarder, he can arrange it to bring it to your location also. So they will do all that. Only thing is the clearance you have to do. And then they have to drop. Ata parva's when you saw those pods, the problem is in our office, we don't have a dock level truck. So then we had to tell the forwarder to bring it, and then he messed up and they put it on the side of the curb. He did not have a forklift, वगैरह. So that will happen. So you have to just work with your freight forwarder. So जो इंडियामध्ये नाही तर कुठून चायनामध्ये असेल त्यांचा इथे कोणतरी असतो माणूस with whom they work. You have to work with them. थोडेसे आधी पैसे तुमचे वेस्ट होतील, but you will understand a lot that next time you will do it properly. And whoever you tell, you can tell these are the exact specifications where you have to drop it.
ओके. सो तुम्ही आज जसं तुम्ही म्हणाला की फर्स्ट क्लिअरन्स आपणच केलेलं बरं, लाईक इन्स्टेड ऑफ ब्रोकर और क्लिअरिंग एजंट पेक्षा. ओके.
या. अँड इट्स अ व्हेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड फॉर्म. आणि तो फॉर्म जो भरायचा असतो तो तुम्ही तिथं जाऊन पण भरू शकता ऍट द पोर्ट. आणि त्यांचं एक टर्मिनल असतं तिथं तुमचं HST नंबर टाकून ते सगळं तुम्ही तिथं भरून तिथंच क्लिअर पण करू शकता. दे आर टर्मिनल्स देअर.
आणि कस्टम चार्जेस जे लागतात ते म्हणजे डिपेंड्स ऑन युअर प्रोडक्ट
अँड
प्राइस,
ओरिजिन
राइट?
अँड
ओरिजिन. ओके.
सो इट्स अ पर्सेंटेज ऑफ द प्राइस ऑन दी बिल ऑफ लेडिंग.
Okay.
Just to add a couple of points to what Harshal has mentioned. ते HS कोडची साईट आहे, तिथे गेलं ना तर ती प्रॉडक्ट टाकलं की तो प्रॉपर HS कोड मिळेल तिथे. आणि मग त्याच्या पुढे सगळी माहिती त्याची दिलेली आहे की त्याला इम्पोर्ट ड्युटी लागेल नाही लागेल, या सगळे डिटेल्स त्याच्यामध्ये तिथे दिलेले आहेत त्याच्यामध्ये ऍक्च्युअली.
ओके.
बरोबर आहे ना हर्षल?
हो.
आणि
इट्स व्हेरी क्लिअर.
आणि जे टर्म्स म्हटलं ते इट डिपेंड्स ऑन ज्या सोर्स कडनं आणणार आहे त्या इन्को टर्म्स काय असतील. म्हणजे FOB डेस्टिनेशन आहे किंवा जे काही गेलेलं असेल ना त्यावरती ते आहे. म्हणजे काही काही आपण आणतो ते सगळं क्लिअर करून आणू शकतो आपण. म्हणजे लाईक DAP म्हणतो आपण त्याला. म्हणजे फ्रॉम सोर्स टू युअर डोअर स्टेप एव्हरीथिंग इज टेकन केअर. तसं पण आणू
PIF
शकतो.
आणि FOB.
या
ओके.
सो त्या वेगवेगळ्या टर्म्स आहेत दॅट यू नीड टू स्टडी ऍक्च्युअली.
ओके.
त्याचा एक चार्ट आहे तर आय कॅन शेअर दॅट चार्ट विथ यू. मी ग्रुपवर टाकू शकतो तो.
परफेक्ट. थँक्यू. मी तुम्हाला कॉन्टॅक्ट करेन नक्कीच. गुंडे साहेब तुम्हाला सुद्धा करेन आणि महेंद्र साहेब तुम्हाला सुद्धा करेन.
हो करा.
वेळ आली
इट्स
की.
व्हेरी स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. ते इंडियासारखं नाही आहे इथे.
Yeah.
आणि इथे आहे स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड. म्हणजे हे क्लिअरिंग एजंट्स पण आहेत, त्यांना $50 दिलं तर ते पण करून देतात. बट यू डोंट अंडरस्टँड द बिझनेस.
द प्रोसेस, राईट.
बरेचदा द
हो,
प्रोसेस इट्स बेटर टू नो.
आपल्याला माहिती असलेली बरी आहे, राईट.
कारण आय थिंक एकदा मी काहीतरी बघत होतो तर चंदनचे पावडर आणि चंदनचे कुठल्या साईजची पावडर ह्याच्या प्रत्येकाचं वेगवेगळे क्लासिफिकेशन, वेगवेगळे रेट्स होते. सो समटाइम्स इट मेक सेन्स टू ब्रिंग द चंदनाचं लाकूड, बट देन इट कम्स अंडर रिस्ट्रिक्टेड थिंग इन इंडिया. मग ते हे चिप्स आणावे लागतात बिकॉज ग्राइंडिंग हिअर इज मच it's much more effective than grinding it in India sometimes. So you have to think of all those things. म्हणून it will help you understand your material as well.
ओके, ग्रेट. बरीच माहिती मिळेल
कंपनी
ऍक्च्युली.
रजिस्टर्ड आहे का? कंपनी रजिस्टर्ड आहे का तुमची?
नाही अजून ऍक्च्युली प्लानचाच पार्ट आहे अजून. सो
Okay, I think for everybody's benefit, I can just address this. Company formation in Canada is one of the easiest thing to do.
Yes.
Okay, so it costs either $200 plus $23 on the federal level, or where you can do business anywhere in Canada, or it costs around $350 at the Ontario level. Okay, so why this difference? Basically, people want to keep it that me Ontario मध्येच काम करेन. So then you do an Ontario corporation. Otherwise, you can do a federal corporation, and that automatically will create an Ontario corporation. Okay. So it's very easy. You can go online and do it. All you need is one director to be a resident Canadian.
ओके. आणि मग आपल्याला ऑन्टारियोमध्ये कॉर्पोरेशन रजिस्टर केली तर मग फेडरलची गरज नाही ना, राईट? की दोन्ही पण पाहिजे?
Ontario corporation is only for Ontario. So let's say you want to do the operations in Alberta. Then you have to open another like you'll have to do an extra provincial registration in Alberta.
Okay. Great.
So it's always, if you are going to think of something to be done across Canada, just open a federal corporation.
Okay.
आणि माझ्या मते otherwise also it is easy and better to open federal level, and then your operation head office is like Ontario. And then what happens in future, suppose like as I said Alberta ला जाऊन काही करायचंय तर your corporation is already there.
Right,
otherwise across the Canada product वगैरे पण पाठवू शकता if it is like federally registered. बरोबर ना?
आणि owner म्हणून website आहे, that's what we use. We like that. OWNR.
Okay, so you don't need to use any website other than federal. Like if you want, I can share you the links. Industry Canada ची website आहे, ज्याच्यावरती I can just show it to everyone. माझे I don't know किती कंपनी आहेत. Because every person I tell अरे ओपन करा तर ते म्हणतात अरे तू ओपन करून दे मला, तर then I open it on my house address. हे बघा, so you can incorporate with $200. This is, so all the other sites will charge you a fee. This is the Government of Canada's website.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, which has no other fees other than their basic fees. Okay,
right.
And it will take you through the steps, and then once you have it here, it's easier to administer, change the director, change the address. It's very easy. Okay, so all this is a dissolve a corporation model. So this is again just the registration. This is what, जर का तुम्ही इंडियात काम केलं असाल तर कंपनी सेक्रेटरीचं काम नसतं इथे. This is all done by the company secretary in India, but here you can do it yourself.
The name, ते nameचं जे हे करायला लागतं, name
हा.
available
search.
आहे, ते is it
Yes.
part of this or that's
Yes,
separate?
yes. So when you incorporate, you have
Okay.
आता
No,
ते
I mean,
सगळं
it
आलं.
just basically just goes through the process. Okay.
Yeah, it'll go
आपण
through the process.
जस्ट मिनिट, हे आपण रेकॉर्ड करतोय का?
Oh, we are recording this.
ओके, दॅट्स गुड. म्हणजे
Okay. Boy. Okay, I have to go through a lot. But otherwise, if you do it, ह्याच्यामध्येच येतं. In Canada, everybody uses what is called as nuance name search. ह्याच्यावरती ते this is where you create your this is not
कॉर्पोरेशन नेमिंग.
sorry no. ओके, सो हे बरेच लोक आहे ना ऍडव्हर्टाईज करतात. सो बी व्हेरी केअरफुल वेन यू डू इट. ऑलवेज गो थ्रू द गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफ कॅनडा वेबसाईट. ऑलवेज लुक फॉर गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफ कॅनडा. इथे काय होतं, बरेच लोक ते ट्राय टू टेक यू टू देअर साईट अँड देन कम हिअर. ऑलवेज गो फॉर दी गव्हर्नमेंट वेबसाईट. आणि कॅनेडियन गव्हर्नमेंटची एक गोष्ट कायम लक्षात ठेवा, देअर वेबसाईट्स आर ऑल सिमिलर. दे डोंट हॅव ग्राफिक्स. First thing to know what is Canadian government. They'll have the government of Canada आणि असं वर. They'll have this font. I can pretty much over here know. आणि it's very straightforward with only text.
इन्फॉर्मेशन.
Very few photographs. Okay. आणि ह्याच्यामध्ये जाऊन you have to do a name search. Now the whole thing is you should not have competing names. आणि competing names असतील तर you have to get a like from the other company you have to get them a sort of clearance that yeah you can use the same name. Okay.
Perfect. Great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and why should you open a business?
That's a good question.
Yeah. So few things about opening a business. Why you should open? Okay. In life, you need to control money. In Canada, you should not have money.
Right.
You should control money. If you have money, they will tax you. If you control money and not in your name, they won't tax you too much. Okay. तुमच्या नावाने जेवढे कमी पैसे असतील तेवढं तुम्हाला बरं आहे. ओके. तुमच्या कंपनीच्या नावावर पाहिजे तेवढे पैसे असते अप टू 500,000 ऑफ प्रॉफिट. They just maximum taxation is 19% and you can keep the money there. So you should incorporate a business so that you are protected. If there is any lawsuit or आता तुझं हे आहे, right? How much insurance did you take for your drink? Let's say somebody drinks and they 2 million, right? Now, is that sufficient? May not be, right? Because at some point somebody drinks it and says they have some food poisoning or something happens, they'll sue you, right? Especially US मध्ये तर it's a lot more. So at that point you want to protect yourself. So you should not say that I am selling this product, my company is selling the product. The company is an independent entity. That's why you should be a shareholder in your company. Okay. So प्रोप्रायटरशिप करू शकतो, बट देन द फुल लायबिलिटी इज ऑन यू. आणि त्याच्यावरती काय लॉसूट झाला तर तुमचं घर बीर सगळं प्रॉब्लेम मध्ये येतं. Even as a company, I have learnt it the hard way, is you should not sign anything as a personal guarantee. Because then you are liable, not the company. Company, if it is liable, company मध्ये काय नसेल, zero असेल तर you can't take anything from a company which doesn't have anything. Okay. And in Canada, if you open a company, best thing is, जर का तुम्ही घर वापरता, तुमची गाडी वापरता, तुम्ही बाहेर मला जेवायला घेऊन जाता, समजा, like right now this was all happening in, let's say, a restaurant and you feed me, all that expense is write off.
Okay.
Right? So that is where you can spend a lot without thinking that okay, but my profit basically it will reduce your profit, but then it won't go okay, you are taking a pay where you pay 40% taxes and then you are spending. Okay.
Perfect.
One question regarding that, like, I mean, if you are, I mean, I think I know the answer, but still I thought asking for a, I mean, obviously आमचं registration आहे, सगळं आहे, we are doing as a registered company. Let's say I do a transaction card. Can that be still, I mean, I'll keep the receipt and everything. Can I still go on the company, or you think I need to keep money in the company, like a business account, and use from the business account? How is that?
Okay. So Canada is a honor system country.
Okay.
Okay. As long as everything is hunky dory, you don't get into the crosshairs of CRA and others, you are okay. But the day they start auditing you and going through it, again, it depends on the auditor and others. Ideally, you should not spend anything on your name. It should be the company spending it. Ata, show me your can. Is it a registered trademark? Your
It's not
logo and
registered.
okay.
Nine,
So before you start doing a lot, go ahead and
yeah.
at least file it for registration. It will take
Hmm.
time, but at least register the trademark. If nothing else, at least that trademark is something which will have value, because unless you register, there's no value for your company and everything.
Yep.
It doesn't cost much. You're not patenting, you're just registering a trademark. Again, the Industry Canada website has a whole set of documents they need and then they have to upload. Just go ahead and do it. And
Yeah,
the
you're
more
saying not
yeah,
trademarking.
yeah,
Trademark.
and that's what I was telling a friend also just now before this call. You in your company, if you're investing money, okay, it should be shown on your financials. Every startup makes this mistake that they will spend outside and never account it. They'll spend their time and never account it. So when I come to, let's say you are raising money and you say that, oh, I need $1 million. So why do you need? You'll say, okay, this is all. And then what has happened to the money that you have spent? Where did you spend it? You have nothing to show because you spent your time, your effort, which was never accounted. Put your own money as equity. It will come in the balance sheet as, okay, shareholders loan or your equity contribution, and take it again out as expense. So you are spending the same money, but through the company. Then the company shows, oh, I spent so much and I got so much. So one is, I don't know if you know accounting, one is a balance sheet item, other is an expense item. So carry forward losses तुझे जर का 2 million असतील, I would love to buy that company because माझा tax bracketच कमी होईल ना. Okay, so do that. A company with accumulated losses is also an attractive company. Only thing, it should be running properly and not have too many liabilities.
Question.
Yeah.
एक सेकंड नहीं मैं just camera on कर रहा हूँ.
No, yeah, go ahead and drive safe. Yeah, don't disturb.
No, I'm just a passenger over here. माझी wife चालवते.
Okay,
विजय
good.
पवार.
Go ahead.
नाही एखादी जर कंपनी ओपन केली, रजिस्टर केली आणि मी त्या कंपनीकडे, आता माझी एक कंपनी रजिस्टर्ड आहे, बट इट वॉज 2 years बॅक, आणि मग इट इज ओनली द बिझनेस अकाउंट मी सुरू केलेलं, पण त्याच्यानंतर मी टॅक्सेशन वगैरे काही फाईल नाही केलं, तर त्याचे काही इम्पॅक्ट, काही इम्प्लिकेशन्स काही असू शकतील सीआरए बरोबरती, जर काही आपण टॅक्सेस कुठल्या वर्षाचे दाखवले. ऍक्च्युली फायनान्शियल ट्रान्झॅक्शन काहीच नाही झालं, इट वॉज ओनली रजिस्टर्ड कंपनी, आणि आय हॅव द बिझनेस नंबर आणि बिझनेस अकाउंट आहे, त्याचं पण ट्रान्झॅक्शन काही नाहीये. तर जर मी टॅक्सेस फाईल नाही केले तर सीआरए इम्प्लिकेशन्स काय असू शकतील त्याच्यामध्ये?
Okay, so yeah, good question. CRA implications are, okay, first thing is, I think they'll first say that you didn't file. So there is a small penalty for not filing, which basically is $100 to $200, not major. And if you start becoming bigger, then it is more. Usually there will be a penalty of, but you should always file it. I would say whatever it is, it's easier to file and then restate than not filing. So let's say you have a nil return. You should have gone and at least filed a nil return. If you go on your My CRA website for business, it will allow you to file a nil return. So go ahead and do that.
Okay.
In future, whenever you file it, they can go back and say, okay, this is the penalty, that is the interest, if there is any taxation owing. If it is loss making, there is nothing. But that failure to file penalty, they can always impose. So it's better to just file it. Even if a year you don't have much, file something. It may be totally wrong. Okay, but on the deadline, file something and then go back, do your accounts and restate it. That is allowed. And they will recalculate. Now everything is online, so they'll recalculate it. But keep filing.
Okay, thanks for your answer, Harshal. Thank you.
Welcome. Yeah.
Hi, Harshal. This is Salil here. Sorry, मी बाहेर आहे ना, तर
Yeah,
थोडा
go ahead.
disturb. But I have two questions. Okay. So let me give you a background. I have been consulting in IT from past 6 years now. Okay, and I have my own INC. Now,
Good.
माझा issue हा होतो की every time my accountant keeps on telling me that because I'm into IT and I cater to one client, right? So I think CRA had put some norms over there that if you're doing an IT consulting, you should have more than one client. Otherwise, you might come under scanner. So how do you normally mitigate this sort of situation?
Okay. So first thing, I know if there is some accountant here, he'll hit me. Okay. Accountants do their work for under the generally accepted accounting norm, the GAAP accounting. Accountants don't know your business. Okay. Accountants are supposed to see that whatever you have put together in accounting is fitting the regulations of CRA. Okay. It doesn't mean they understand your business. It doesn't mean they can optimize your business. It doesn't mean that they can help you. What he said about a contractor. Now, what comes here is you could be deemed as an employee of that company because you are just addressing one client. Now, what happens is your wife could be a client too.
Right.
Okay. Your friends could be a client too.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
how do
So think,
how can
okay. So you have to be very objective. What
okay.
happens is this comes from the payroll rules. Now, payroll rules मध्ये काय होतं, if you are, even I face this. If somewhere my casual employees who work for us, they invoice us and we pay them. Now, at some point, if CRA becomes really suspicious that this guy is only working at our office and not working anywhere else, he's trying to avoid taxes, then they may come and basically they'll fine us saying, okay, this guy is deemed to be an employee because you tell him where to go, you tell him what to do. That means he's not a contractor.
Right.
Okay. In your case, you are a simple IT contractor and you have only one client, which could be at some point deemed that you are a employee there, which will be a problem for you as well as the company which is hiring you.
Okay. Correct.
Okay. So now there are two things that you should organize yourself. One is when you think of a company, let it be a Coca-Cola size company or a XYZ your company. The rules are the same.
Okay.
Okay. So the rules don't change according to the size of the company. There are certain extra taxes you have to pay. So try to organize yourself as if it's a large company. So that means what? You should show you have a board of directors. So you should have you, your wife, your father, and the board of director doesn't have to be Canadian. Only one person has to be Canadian. Everybody else. You can put Jagdish ji, you can put Aditya, Chandan, all of them to be, board of directors. Sorry, Shruti also. All of you can be board of directors. You could basically spend time in consulting with Shruti that when she is driving the car, how can the camera not shake? That is a consulting service.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So you have to organize yourself properly. It should not. So what your accountant is saying is true according to the rules, but it also doesn't mean that your business has to be only this, right? So you can do certain things. You want to have as many clients as possible to show that you provide services to a wide variety, not only to one client, because you could be deemed as an employee. Now, if you are deemed as an employee, what happens is there are two things. One is you have to pay your payroll taxes, your CPP, EI contribution. Then you'll have to do your RRSP. So your taxes, and then because it was in the past, they can even put a penalty and interest saying, okay, you should have paid taxes then. According to all the system, this is how much extra payment you'll have to do. Okay.
That's
Now,
what I am
yeah,
scared.
on the other side, in your books, you could have accounts receivable from 15 other people.
Okay.
Doesn't mean that the money has to come.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, this is all the accounting that you will understand. Now, as a business, your accounts, I advise everybody, you should do your own accounts. An accountant should
What
finally
I do is
review your account.
I do my own bookkeeping basically.
Correct.
But
Good. So in that, create accounts receivable, create multiple. How many customers do you have?
so what has happened is that I work with one client. My wife does freelancing, which is more on and off, but actually it's more of a foreign payment because she works with her friend in UK. So
Great.
I normally transfer money through PayPal into my business account. That's what I normally create my invoices. But that's not a big amount as such, if you see. But it's just that now, because this issue has come up, probably I'm just trying to find a way out
Yeah.
by doing
See,
this.
even a $1 charge is a customer.
Okay.
There is no limitation that it has to be $20 or $1 or $1 million. There's no. Only thing is you should have various customers where you're providing services. You and your wife are either you are employees or you are shareholders where you take a dividend.
Okay, so that's what I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried my best. Maybe I wasn't getting the right advice, but yeah, probably I'm on the right path. What you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. So do that. All of us can be your customers. Even if you charge us, we may not pay you. And in your books, you have for 3 years accounts receivable. And then you say, these are all bad customers, bad debt. You write it off.
Okay. Got it.
So keep organizing that way. Yes. And what he's saying to a certain extent is true because that could happen.
Okay. And if you don't mind, I have one more question. I know there are
This is good for everyone.
One more question is related to INC. So, always every year when I file my taxes, there is always a difference between my bank corporate account bank balance and the retained earnings, right?
Yes.
How do you compensate that
You
portion?
reconcile.
How do you do that? But do I have to pay taxes, you mean, for that part of it? How
No, I didn't get you. So you haven't reconciled your books then?
I do reconcile, but what happens is that sometimes, just take an example that I took out $10,000, which were not accounted at the end of the year, probably, and now my retained earnings, my bank balance is less than $10,000 than on the books what I show to CRA. Okay, in the form of it.
Okay, so what you have done is you have taken and you haven't done your bookkeeping properly. So when you take out 10,000, it's either as a shareholder loan or it's as a payment, right? So you should account it as a shareholder loan. It will go into balance sheet. Your bank balance has to match either as an accounts payable which is in future with a check which is not cleared, or so it's just that you haven't done it properly. It should not. It should match.
My accountant is saying that you can say that you are having cash in hand, but you know what? I want a second.
No. Don't do that. Your bank balance and your book balance and your online balance should match.
Wow, it's not matching though, but yeah.
Okay, we can just, I don't know. I am not an accountant, but I can go through it and quickly tell you. But I don't know. So I think it's time for that you change your accountant, because an accountant should be able to quickly do your reconciliation and say, okay, this is how much it is. You either see if you have just one customer, you should either go to the shareholders loan so that your bank balance matches. Every entry in your bank book should have a matching, either it's a balance sheet or a profit and loss item.
Okay. I think that's where the gap is, that I still have a difference between the book balance and my bank balance.
But if you do a reconciliation, it should automatically recognize it.
So but you mean I show more expenses or do something which?
No. I think I think you haven't done accounting. Like, okay, we'll sit down. Like, you should sit down with a decent accountant and he'll show you or teach you what to do. You're using QuickBooks, Sage. What are you using?
I use QuickBooks for my own purpose.
So then on QuickBooks, if you hit reconcile and then tell the bank, and then it'll do a reconciliation report where it'll tell you all the missing entries, and then you'll have to just put it towards the proper items.
Okay.
Yeah, bank balance has to match. If the bank balance doesn't match, and if it's an expense, there should be a check against it which is not yet cleared. That's about it. Those are the only entries which should not be.
What's the implication if bank balance doesn't match? Is this something to be concerned about?
Then your bookkeeping is not right. That means your financials are not correct.
Okay.
That means what you filed as taxes, you'll have to restate them. It won't be much of a difference for your level, but you should keep it.
Okay.
Like your book should be clean.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Thank you so much. Okay.
I'm not an accountant, by the way, but yeah.
I just thought maybe, if anyone has any sort of.
Like, yeah, I use QuickBooks all the time. Don't worry, but yeah, you just
Okay,
have to
sounds
manage.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, anyone wants to ask?
Again, don't take profits out. Keep it in the company. Once you pay 19%, that money can be sitting there and you could purchase. Your car can be purchased through the things. Only thing is, it will be a depreciable asset. That means you don't have to take it out, pay another tax, and then buy the car. You just buy it from there.
I agree.
Yeah, and never buy a car if you have a company. Always lease it.
I did the same thing though.
Yeah, always lease it so that every month lease is right off.
Yeah.
Shruti, you're on mute. You're asking something. Okay.
नाही मी बोलते आम्ही दोघं बोलतोय.
Okay. Sorry. Yeah. Hello. Where is everybody? Everybody else is on mute, listening. झोपले की काय सगळे?
Hello.
Hello.
Sorry. Can I go ahead?
Yeah, go ahead. I think
Okay.
everybody should start chit-chatting. You don't have to wait for each other. I think we should
Okay.
all, if you want, you can use the chat and raise questions and I can start, some of us can start answering those also. And again, I don't want to be the same person. Anybody can answer, whoever is doing work.
Okay, great. So first of all, thank you so much for organizing this. This is extremely beneficial and it almost seems like my wish was answered. I've been thinking about entrepreneurship and exploring ideas and this event came along. माझं नाव राज आहे. माझी मराठी एवढी चांगली नाही आहे. I grew up in Canada, so I'll try my best to keep a mix of both.
Yeah, sure.
I'm 30 years old and I want to give a shot to entrepreneurship. But I don't know where to begin and like where to start off with like business fundamentals and stuff like that. Like it's sort of I'm starting off with a very big question mark. I think you guys all have a very well established business and careers. I'm currently working as a manufacturing engineer in pharmaceuticals.
Okay.
I was recently laid off, but after a lot of applying and job searching, I finally found something. But yeah, like this whole time that I was laid off, I had some time to do some self-reflection and maybe think of some entrepreneurship. But I need some guidance. I'm sort of clueless. I don't know where to begin.
Okay, so
I'm not sure if this is the forum for this.
No, that's fine.
Okay.
Excellent. No. I think we should not hold. My whole thing is there should be a lot more Marathis doing entrepreneurship and doing something on their own. Canada definitely rewards you. Much easier to earn money once you are on a path. Not earn, control money. Again, I'll keep using that word.
Yeah.
तर पहिली गोष्ट म्हणजे so entrepreneurship or whatever, doing business on your own. I think you should start out small
Right.
because it's a lot of risk taking. You definitely are, if you have a nice job and you're enjoying your life, there's no point of doing this. If for somebody who wants to do and get, shattered any day, you're becoming like a glass vase. Right now, you're a steel sort of glass, but now you're becoming a glass made out of glass. Like you could be shattered at any point. So that is where entrepreneurship comes. It's not something that anybody and everybody should do. I definitely don't want to encourage people to do it just because, oh yeah, somebody else did it. I'll also do it. You can just see in the Ambanis also. Mukesh Ambani, Anil Ambani. Anil Ambani did very well and now he's shattered. He's literally bankrupt. So it's not for somebody who is, like who wants to do it as you will be successful. It's always there are more unsuccessful business and bankrupt businesses than successful business. So you have to know this before. Second thing, if you want to be an entrepreneur in something which you want to start off with something which will give you satisfaction than money.
Okay.
Okay. If something doesn't work out, let's say after 5 years of doing everything, it shuts down with zero value. Something that you should enjoy is those 5 years and that whole journey it took to build it and then close it. I can tell you from my own side, I have opened and shut down, I think, 3 businesses where I grew them and then I closed them also. I had employees and then I had to lay them off. But what I would say is, what education I got, I don't think any MBA school would have taught me that. Okay. So I enjoyed the whole education that I got out of it. Even though it was, I went to 12 countries, I looked at places where there was no English, and I could still communicate and get things done. I find that education I could have never asked any university to give. That itself for me is, if nothing else, it's a story that I can keep using anywhere. I have so much material to give talks now. That I can say is something you should enjoy. If you're not enjoying it, if you're doing it for money, don't do it. Okay. The second thing you
Okay.
have to look at is, if it is something that you want to enjoy, do you have the skills for that? So if you, let's say, were in manufacturing, you have something which is unique and uh, something new that you're thinking of, then try it on the side. Do it in the evenings. Do it. There is a thing that, okay, when you're working somewhere, you do 9 to 5. An entrepreneur works 5 to 9. 5 to 9 is 5 a.m. to 9 p.m., not 5 to 9 in the evening. So
Okay.
try that out. Canada definitely doesn't put any restrictions. That I can say. It's very easy to open a company, start something, go. First thing is, whether do you have a customer or do you have somebody who needs your services or your skills? Start talking to people, meet people in your own field, go to exhibitions. One of the best things of summer is there are so many conventions which happen in downtown Toronto at MTCC, International Center, something which is in the field that you have. Go to them, attend it. Most of them are free, right? For going and meeting exhibitions where you have a convention and you have an exhibition space, usually they are free. If it's not free, find out how you can go in for free. There must be some association, some college. If nothing else, if it's free for students, come to me. I'll give you that you are my student for one day and you can go free. I'll help out. So think of all these things. Attend, meet people in your own field here, wherever you are, and then
Okay.
slowly start doing. Pick up 10 ideas in that field which you like, and maybe you will bring it down to one idea that will go forward. Don't think that this is my idea and I'll make it work. It doesn't. Many times you are not timed the market properly. You are
Right.
early or you're too late, and then you may not be successful. But just enjoy the journey of getting it started, running it, closing it, whatever happens. Just enjoy that journey. If you're not going to enjoy, a job is better.
Right. Okay.
Especially if you're married, it's a lot of risk that you're taking,
Right. Right. Right.
right? Like I did that, and I think I still regret it. I can own up to it. Uh, but yeah, it was something that I shouldn't have done in hindsight, but I did it. My wife is still with me. That's the only grace that I have.
Okay.
But it's something that, yeah. But look at your field. Don't go outside of what you like to do.
Right. Okay.
Your jobs are usually what we do for our living, but entrepreneurship and business should be what we like to do. Otherwise, there's no point. If you like photography, for example, do something in that. If you like music, do something in that. So, but do
Mm.
something that you like. If you're a good engineer, develop some new prototypes, fine. There are a lot of, by the way, science and research funding available. There is enough in Canada for everybody to do what they want to do. Just that you have to find the right matching path to it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, come up with ideas. If you want to ever run it by some of us, we can help you understand, or we may point you to people you should go and meet. But keep meeting people. Yeah, that is one thing. All the businesses run by some human selling or buying from some other human,
Right.
right? So you have to meet other humans. May not be Marathi, maybe any other language, or may not even understand your language. I worked in Uzbekistan where there was no English. and I had to do a landfill gas project. I did not know Russian, but I spent 2 years. I figured out how to draw things and communicate and tell them this is the pipe with this is the perforation I wanted. I used to keep drawing on papers and telling this is what I want because they couldn't understand anything.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I mean, we started. I mean, again, I said, मला idea होती डोक्यात काहीतरी करायचंय. We cut it down to this, and we said, let's do with this, go with this. If not this, we'll go. But I agree, and I just आम्हाला असं वाटेल की this will be done in like 2 months. It took us a whole year. So it's the learning that I think we are enjoying that the most, like how to do this, how to do that. So I can definitely, like, I'm literally beginning, but I'm loving this journey of learning things. So.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Raj, for asking that question. This answer really helped and inspired me a lot. I mean, the way Harshal and Aditya explained, it is a lot of inspiring and motivational. So thanks for answering that question, Raj.
Yeah, and it's much easier to fail when early in life than later in life. So yeah, do it when you are single, when you're still looking for different girls, and also look for different businesses. I think the other side of Canada is once the kids grow up, I think then also people start doing businesses a lot because then you don't have responsibility. Once the kids are 20 years old, like some of us have, and then they start looking at new things. Because now the responsibilities are not there, the kids are well set. That's when again people start doing their own. And by the time you have had some experience and you have met a lot of humans, so you can network on that.
I want to add one more thing that, I mean, again, मी जरी food industry आहे ना तरी सुद्धा I found out, like for example, there is a company, what do you want to call it? It's a non-profit called Venture Park, Canadian is it, and they help only like food industry. That's what they are. I forgot that lady's name, but she's the one of the Dragon's Den member. She's actually she started that. But yeah, they only help like food companies, and they had program. One of the program was like concept to market sprint. It was like a 10-week only, like whatever, Tuesday afternoon after the work, 2 hours, when someone is telling you all these steps and giving you, some ideas and this and that. I mean, again, most of the stuff I knew, like the CFI regulations, food additives, like I knew things. But even after that, I found though that was very helpful to kind of ground me, help me. I mean, food industry, there are things which are like, we buy. I know the additives, and I'm like, this is how people are selling this in Canada, which is not allowed. And you want to do the right thing, and you are like, I don't want to sell this, and you get frustrated. It's like people are selling, making money, and I want to do the right thing. How this? But that course helped me. She's like, no, you like remember, even if you're starting new, just do the right thing from beginning.
Yeah.
That will help you in the future, because when you go to law, so please, like, you are ready, like, it is legal, it is allowed, you are not cutting corners. So I think if you have something like that in your area that you want to work, this type of course or this type of like a program, definitely I would recommend. So, but this was for food, Venture Park.
Great. And the other thing,
what was the name again, Aditya? You're on mute.
Venture Park.
Can you just put the link on the chat so that everybody can see? Yeah. And one more thing I want to always encourage all the Marathi people. You have to understand, as I said, even on that day, whole of Canada is Pune and Mumbai together. Okay. There are only 4 crore people. They say 40 million looks bigger, but it's only 4 crores. Okay, and if you see India, which is now developing a lot, they have a lot more money. I think Aditya or whoever has come in new, they have seen like their disposable income is far higher. When we go to India, it's like, अरे कितना खर्च करता है, हमें लगता है कि साला डॉलर में भी हम इतना खर्च नहीं कर पाते. But you should always look at US also as a Canada as a resource country and sell it in India. It's a lot easier to sell to 120 crores than to sell to 4 crores. And India, I can tell you one thing, if somebody wants to raise, blueberries are a very native Canadian fruit. It doesn't grow anywhere else. Okay. Now, blueberry juice has certain has certain ingredients which the Ayurvedic industry in India needs. Okay, so if you do some extraction here and sell it in India, you'll have a much bigger market. I'm just giving you, whoever wants to do it, they can do the research. But these are some of the things you can look at, because there are certain weather things that are possible only here. And India is one of the big markets which consumes anything and everything. So look at that. India, China, all these markets, they consume a lot. Do you know China imports most of Chinese chopsticks are made in North Carolina. So remember, markets are because they don't have wood that they want to cut, and North Carolina has lots of wooden things. So they make the guy in North Carolina makes all the chopsticks which goes to China, which is now used there for their own food. So even though they're eating Chinese food, they're using the American chopsticks. So think of the different ways that you can. That's why even Aditya, I asked you whether that whatever is your product, you can sell in India. Well, even Mumbai, if you can provide, there is so much consumption than selling to Toronto. Toronto is big, but it's not that big.
Yeah. No, we actually even thought like making there, bringing here also. But I mean, just make it, sell it there, and also bring it, kind of both ways. But
yeah, I think the main thing is water is nearly free here.
Water is good here. Yeah.
Water is good here. Yeah, there was a guy who was selling even air to South Koreans, right? From Alberta, the Rocky Mountain Air Company. हवा बेच रहा था. So think of it.
We are finding difference even between like Toronto or Burlington water versus Guelph water. Like I
Oh,
mean,
very much, yeah.
Very, so it's a big, yeah. Anyway.
Hi guys, this is Vishal.
Hello, hi Vishal.
Let's say that Raj is the younger one. I am probably going to be 50s in another 2 years.
Age doesn't matter, man. You look as young as a 20-year-old. Come on.
So I have been an entrepreneur before, but that was back in Middle East.
Okay.
I had a company in Middle East which was dealing in broadcast technology and consultancy for TV stations.
Okay.
And I closed that when I moved to Canada back in 2016. And I think my strengths were networking and business development mostly. I was never a tech guy, though I did my IT engineering side in college. So I have a friend, Chaitanya, who's also joined here, Chaitanya Deshpande. And we are looking to this marketing or business development for a technology company which helps manufacturing industries. And that it's a small company based out of Ottawa, but they don't have, let's say, business development strength, or he's not. It's a one-man company, and he's more on the technology side. So we are taking up their products and the solutions and trying to market it in Canada. And we are also looking at Middle East and India because I have been in that. I have some network there as well. But in Canada, we are pretty new to this kind of industry. We don't know many people. So mostly what we are looking at is, MES, manufacturing execution solutions, or product verification, product testing, design verification testing, those kind of solutions. Mostly based around PCBA manufacturing. So we're looking to enter into that space for business development.
Which industry is this? PCBA is like?
PCB manufacturing, like circuit board manufacturing.
Oh, okay. Like what is it? What is the large company here?
will come under like fabrications and all,
Okay.
mostly on the semiconductors and everything.
Okay.
And
So you
like,
do the
in the
PCBs, but for what industry? Any industry, or it's like auto parts, or?
Anything. If PCB could be used, I mean, the final PCB could be used in any industry, but uh, we do product verification or testing for anybody who manufactures PCBA. That company could be selling those PCBA to any industry. It could be washing machine, it could be a mobile phone, it could be an automobile. So it's like a circuit board, So different
Yeah.
companies manufacture different circuit boards for different requirements. So we are looking into business development for that company, which does all these products and solutions. So we are just putting a plan together how to start, and we came across.
How old is the main company?
That company is 16 years old.
How's the top line, bottom? Like, how much is the revenue been? Like,
we don't have those numbers yet with us. We only know
16-year-olds.
that they have
Okay.
solutions. Yeah.
So why I was asking is, he could have exhausted most of Ontario or whatever Canadian market, because usually if they're good, everybody knows about them. So
Correct.
his customers are in Toronto area or only in Ottawa area?
They are all across Canada.
Okay.
But his growth has been more organic, or somebody recommended him to some other client. He has never himself marketed the company in the right way possibly. So we are looking at revamping the whole brand of the company as well.
Good.
Make it more let's say tech savvy in general.
Okay. But if he doesn't come to the company, who will run it?
No, he's gonna handle the technology side as well completely, because we don't know much about it. We are only going to look at the marketing.
But is it a one-man company, or does he have a management board or other things? Like,
no, he doesn't have a management board.
If he is not there, that means the company will shut down.
Yeah. So I mean, we also have a plan to get more resources on the technology side from India, because I guess it's mostly IT based, but let's say IT integrated with manufacturing. So we are planning to also take it, if things evolve right way, the way we are thinking, then take it to India and use IT, so development in India for the solutions that we have.
Yeah. The reason I'm asking you all this is, first of all, before you start going across, always see that, okay, like even for Aditya, he's too young, but at some point the company has to mature that the owner doesn't have to be there. Okay, it has processes, people, teams, everything that they happen on their own. Like right now, like over time, we have organized that I don't have to be in the company. That's why I'm able to spend time in everything else. And the company can keep running and everything. That's what you want to build up to. What happens with single people is you spend your time and energy and bring in clients, but if he, let's say tomorrow doesn't come in, your effort should not go to waste. So you should also look at that. The second thing is, if it is 16-year-old and he's got good financials, EDC helps a lot. The Export Development Corporation can even do the bill discounting for somebody in India. Here, by the way, if you've worked in Middle East, bill discounting doesn't happen here. I have tried my best. The only company which even did a little bit was ICICI Bank for a line of credit, LC, from India only. Otherwise, here, forget. Canadian banks don't understand. I know Middle East, India, Singapore, you can easily get this discounted. That doesn't happen here. So when you're exporting, you have to go with EDC, but EDC will look for credibility on the company's balance sheet.
Okay, I see.
Okay, and the EDC is a government company. They will come and talk a lot. Very little action unless everything is safe, but they will help. So if you are typically a Canadian company, they do help. And if you have to send it, and in India, let's say you're selling it to Godrej, they know the financials of Godrej. The Indian consulate will say, yeah, go ahead, and then they will discount the LC. Only they can discount. Don't spend your time on TD Bank or any other Canadian bank. ICICI Bank with India would work, but again, they are also very restricted. So that is one thing about export. The second thing is, you should bring in more people, younger people into the company before you invest a lot of your effort for business. I know business development is like you spend all your time, you come up, I don't know what are your commission or profit margin structures. At the end of it, you don't want it to go to waste.
Correct.
At least academically, you should understand that you can set. If he shuts down, Like, because for me, after 16 years, if it's still a single person company, I have doubts about the strength. That means he's not building up and whatever. Uh, you have to also think PCBs are something that you will be outdated pretty fast, especially with China and Taiwan.
Yeah.
That I can tell, even in India, because in India I do sort of partially run a company where we are publicly listed, but we also do energy saving equipment. We used to require PCBs and all. So I have dealt with contract man. I've seen them in 3 to 4 years going bust because, again, who's paying and who's selling, because they have to buy all this equipment, make the PC, and then they get paid, right? So if the quality control that you say doesn't happen, all their money is wasted. So I've seen them going really, and then you don't get products. So yeah, be very careful before you spend a lot of time. At least understand the whole part that you can take over that company.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And EDC is there. Yeah, go ahead, Jagdish.
जस्ट वन डाऊट तो वन मॅन कंपनी आहे तो माणूस काय पीसीबी डिझाईन एक्सपर्ट आहे का?
Yes, he म्हणजे तो काय करतो की once the client has a PCB design available, so what they do is they put in a sort of make
Reverse
sure that every
engineer.
PCB that is manufactured on the process line, once it is done, they will test it. They customize a testing unit for that specific PCB, and that testing unit will confirm whether it is as per spec or it is not as per spec. And so if it is as per spec, it gets passed over to the client or whatever. And if it has an issue, then it will flag where the issue is, and then that can be rectified. So that's what is product verification, and that happens at several stages in the production line. So it is when the board is ready, in the first stage, it happens in between few stages depending on how complex the production line is, and it happens at the final stage where they do the functional testing of the. So it happens on several levels, and he's when I say one man company, so he is one man, but he has a small team that is based out of some in Canada, but they are not on his payroll. They're I think more on a freelance basis that he works with. So that's what the situation is right now.
Okay, नाही
But
मला
the
वाटलं
but the
की तो
system that
वन
he has developed and worked with are pretty decent and have worked with different clients. So he has a decent client base as well existing.
ओके ओके मला वाटलं तो वन मॅन शो असेल आणि इफ इज अ डिझाईन एक्सपर्ट अँड इफ यू आर डुईंग बिझनेस डेव्हलपमेंट फॉर हिम तर त्याची कपॅसिटी लिमिटेशन पण असेल त्याच्यामध्ये ना, कारण लाईक किती बिझनेस यू विल जनरेट फॉर हिम दॅट ही शुड बी एबल टू लाईक हँडल दॅट, राईट?
Correct.
But
No,
now I got it.
he expands his team based on as and when the
Yes,
work is required.
yes.
So
Scale up,
I
scale
mean,
down
he
करू
is
शकतो. Okay.
the brain behind it, so he's able to offload most of his work to the team that he needs as and when projects come.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, work with. Yeah, I can get to like EDC. You can contact from the local region. They'll come and do it. That is one thing.
Okay.
But always, yeah, I would advise that see that at least you learn all the things, because yeah, it should be like, yeah, you get an order from Vancouver, he's not able to do it. Can you set up somebody else? And what are his competitors? You'll have to see, like, because it looks to be a very niche industry. It uh, doesn't have too much demand. India Made, I think one of the things where, because I have seen these contract manufacturers, I think they're constrained with high quality equipment just because of the cost side. And I think Canada that way has much better access to equipment because we spend a lot, like, for setting up. So I think that way it is there. आणि आपल्याकडे main म्हणजे for electronics, we don't have dust here. India, everything becomes a costly affair because of the dust and grime and the moisture everywhere. So yeah, the amount of like high-tech manufacturing becomes difficult. I think with the chip industry getting reshored, there is some work for all these PCB companies and others to do it. But then you have to get into really high-tech manufacturing, which is not by hand or whatever. Really good, because they're now trying to bring all the chip manufacturing back, right? So
Yeah. Also, what we are looking at, because he has all the technology and the know-how, so we are trying to put together a system which is called, I mean, it already exists from different vendors, but we are trying to put together one of our own, which on something lines of manufacturing execution system. So it's like when we talk about manufacturing execution system, it could be applied to any industry which has a production line, and you have different sensors and different sensors collecting data from at different points. And basically, what it does, it at the end of it, it will show you where there's a problem and what needs to be done. It will give you all the data from the production line. It will give you dashboards in terms of reportings of where things are done, doing optimal, where are there issues, so you can get all those issues sorted. So it's making the whole manufacturing line more, what do you say, has a user end graphics so that you can see if everything is going well or if there are any issues at the end of it. Also trying to, I don't know if you guys have heard about Internet of Things, IoT, Industry 4.0. So this could also, be going into that direction eventually.
So it's all there. Good, but just keep your watch out about how you could expand. The other thing about like all these IoT and all, I don't know. You should be working with a lot of manufacturing happens here on the auto parts industry, especially in the GTA, right? With Magna and everybody here. You should look at whether that is applicable. What I haven't seen much like see at some point Blackberries were sort of designed here, even that is gone. So most of telecom has gone away. So although that industry has shut down. In the past, when I came here, there was Nortel, Mitel, everybody was doing, electronics and switches and everything. Like, there were at least some parts were made here. Everything else came from China, but then China messed up. Like, they screwed Canadians nicely. So that
They did
industry.
this for everybody, I guess, in the market.
So the others, for example, in the solar industry, you still have Fronius here. I don't know if you have ever seen them. It's in Mississauga. They have some really high-end manufacturing, but again, nothing. They just assemble parts here. Everything comes from Germany. So that is also something you can look at. They have real, like what you were talking about, the only industry I can remember visiting is Fronius. They're really high-end jigs to do all their, I went there for solar inverters. They have some really good quality ones. So
Okay.
that I've seen.
What's the name
But
of the
yeah,
company? Fronius, you said?
Fronius. Fronius. They have a small unit in Mississauga, end of Mississauga. Auto parts, of course, Magna, I don't know. If you are already in there, you should look at all their different divisions because they are the only guys who are really manufacturing something here.
I saw that there are some companies in Windsor which are also into PCB manufacturing.
Yeah. Yeah, again, that's for the US industry, right? Much bigger than yeah. You should also think of taking a license from him and setting up your own unit somewhere. Just just to balance out and so that your risk is reduced, even if he doesn't function, you have some. And if you have some background, yeah, it is good. The other thing, India is booming like anything with all the high-tech manufacturing coming. Yeah, you could supply things there, design things. You could do it because again, here the market is pretty small.
Yeah, that's it. The idea is basically to understand exactly, what the company does and get details of it and pick up enough information and knowledge that we can run the company on our own, and then basically technology transfer to an Indian company and then
Okay.
start.
Yeah. So I can tell you one thing, especially people coming from India. We think म्हणजे आपण खूपच आपल्याला वाटतं की तो खूप हुशार असतो. ते शेवटी कळतं की काही नसतं. इथं अक्षरशः आपलं मला हे करायचं म्हणून करतात आणि आपण इंडियात आपल्याला हे आहे ना म्हणजे मराठी लोकांना असं अरे तो खूप हुशार असल्याशिवाय त्याला काय करताच येणार नाही. आणि त्याच्यामध्ये वी ओव्हर कॉम्प्लिकेट सिम्पल थिंग्स. म्हणजे आणि ते टेक्नॉलॉजी ट्रान्सफर व्हायला काही नसतं. तो करतोय तर आपण पण करू शकतो. ठीक आहे. आणि हल्ली म्हणजे आय वुड से टेक्नॉलॉजी इज सो डेमोक्रॅटिक दॅट यू कॅन फाइंड सम डिझाईन समवेअर. तुम्हाला फक्त त्याच्यात कुठे केअर घ्यायची आणि कुठे लाईक वेदर यू शुड कॉपी ऑर यू हॅव टू रिइंजिनियर. That's all. And we should have the confidence that we can do it. I think that is one thing I can tell you. मी म्हणजे बरेच even I went to Magna and like even Coca-Cola ची इथं बॉटलिंग प्लांट आहे तिथं जाऊन I thought oh it will be high tech there. याला शेवटी केलं म्हणलं एवढंच करतोय म्हणजे फक्त आपण माणसांनी करतो ते तुम्ही जरासं ऑटोमेशन करा, कारण मेल्यानं तुम्हाला पैसे द्यायला येत नाही. म्हणजे सॉरी, पण लाईक वी थिंक दे आर डुईंग समथिंग हायटेक, बट फायनली देयर इज नथिंग लाईक दॅट. व्हेरी फ्यू कंपनीज डू. म्हणजे तुम्हाला एक सांगतो, देर इज अ कंपनी, म्हणजे हॅमिल्टन आणि हार्टन रिजनच्या मध्ये त्यांची मोठी फॅक्टरी आहे. दे मेक द कस्टम पार्ट्स फॉर ऑल द स्पेस इक्विपमेंट. whatever from Canada goes into space, they make some parts out of it. आणि ते काय आहे तर over time he sort of was close to the Canadian Space Agency and all that, so he developed. आणि तिथे काय करतात तर make all the high end custom carbon fiber based components.
Okay.
आता तिथे I went to visit because we were doing something about the solar industry. पण तिथं आत गेल्यावर you would think त्याच्याकडे एक 4 चांगले मोठे CNC मशीन्स होते. फाईन, दॅट यू कॅन बाय फ्रॉम एनिवेअर. आणि त्याचं मॅक्सिमम म्हणजे ऍसेट काय होतं माहितीये का? त्याच्याकडे एक 40 ते 50 च्या बायका होत्या फिलिपिन्सच्या, ज्यांना शिवायला छान यायचं. इट वॉज जस्ट अबाउट स्टिचिंग विथ हँड, नॉट इवन बाय मशीन. कारण ते काय असतं की यू हॅव कस्टम कॉम्पोनंट्स, राईट? मग ते तुम्हाला एक फॉर्म, ते म्हणजे ड्रॉइंग येतं, मग त्याचा फॉर्म क्रिएट करावा लागतो, तो हायटेक फॉर्म, ते मशीनिंग होतं. पण इट हॅज टू बी डन इन कार्बन. आता कार्बन फायबर इज नथिंग पण कापड ज्याच्यावरती ते रेझिन लावतात. ठीक आहे, तर रेझिन फॉर्म्युलेशन्स आर डन अँड दे आर गिवन बाय कॅनडा स्पेस एजन्सी. ऑल दीज गाईज हॅव टू डू इट. दे हॅव टू रिअली डू अ फाईन वर्क ऑफ दिस फायबरचं कापड असतं अक्षरशः. त्या कापडाला नीट शिवायला लागतं आणि ते नीट शिवून ते वगैरे, आणि ते हाताने, कारण ते मशीनने शिवलं ना तर ते फाटतं. तर ते हाताने हळूहळू त्या 15 वेळा. दॅट वॉज द हायटेक मॅन्युफॅक्चरिंग गोइंग इन टू स्पेस. आता हे मला सांगा बघू, साताऱ्याची बाई का करू शकणार नाही? So I think what we do is we overcomplicate things, but finally things are pretty straightforward and simple. We should just remove. Okay, there are certain things which are you will have some places where they do all this chip manufacturing, which has to be air controlled. Okay, you buy that equipment, you do it, but then finally execution is just by hands. So I think, yeah, you can also learn a lot and implement it.
We'll come back to you once we have some proper idea baked,
Sure.
and then we'll run it by you and see how
Anytime.
use our network to connect further.
इंडियामध्ये पाहिजे असेल तर मुंबईत आहेत माझे कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट मॅन्युफॅक्चररचे ओळखीचे. आय कॅन पुट यू इन टच विथ दॅम. आणि त्यांच्याकडनं पाहिजे तर त्यांना काय पाहिजे हे पण तुम्ही बोलू शकता. आय ऑल्सो नो अ कंपनी विच स्टार्टेड मेकिंग लॅपटॉप्स, अल्टिमस म्हणून आहे, मेड इन इंडिया लॅपटॉप्स. ते आम्ही आता इथे मागवणार आहोत, कारण मेड इन चायना नाही, मेड इन इंडिया लॅपटॉप्स आहेत. दे मेक देम नाव, सो वी वॉन्ट टू सी व्हॉट इज द क्वालिटी अँड अदर थिंग्स.
Oh, wow. Yes. That would be. Thank you so much. Thank you for the space and time to let us talk.
जेवढं होऊ शकेल, वी कॅन कॉन्ट्रीब्युट टू द सोसायटी, दॅट इज गुड.
हे हाय, मी कौस्तुभ. तो माझा एक बेसिक अगदी फंडामेंटल क्वेश्चन आहे. मी राईट नाव म्हणजे एसएपी कन्सल्टंट आहे आणि इन फॅशन अपॅरल अँड ऑल. पण ऑफकोर्स म्हणजे सगळे जसे इथे बाकीचे आहेत त्यांच्यासारखीच खाज आहे माझ्यामध्ये काहीतरी वेगळं करायची, राईट? सो माझं क्वेश्चन आहे की हाऊ डू यू मेक अ ट्रान्झिशन फ्रॉम म्हणजे जॉब, what is the sanest way to do that given all the responsibility? I know you kind of touched upon it before, but
I don't know how you transition. It's finally you have to. Finally, it comes down to your own confidence in your field. The day I left my job in 2007 was the day Kargil. If you remember Kargil, they basically bought some of our projects. Of course, it ended up being bust, but when they bought projects, and I said, okay, now I have to go full time because now I can't do this part time, and I have to, do justice to what check they had sent me or whatever they had paid, and I'm like, and मग त्यावेळेला I quit, and then whatever, it's been a topsy-turvy world. Yeah, I would say, yeah, as long as you have to first find how much do you really need. See, housing and cars in Canada are expensive. Now, housing, do you really need to stay in Toronto? I don't know. So, if you are able to, let's say, I
I'm
don't
already
know,
living in Waterloo.
huh?
I'm already living in
Yeah,
Waterloo.
you're living in Waterloo. You can start something. Again, I would always say there's no recipe which I can
Yeah,
give that, okay, you should do it. If you can sustain yourself with minimal requirements, like let's say वर्षाला आपल्याला किती लागतात? You don't need more than $40,000 in a year to spend on yourself, right? Yeah, other than housing, you really don't spend on anything. What you eat food and like buy some clothes, and which I think as म्हणजे बायकांना तरी थोडे कपडे लागतात, पुरुषांना काय लागत पण नाही, like so I don't know. Again, at some point you have to do justice to your business also, because that also drives like, okay, I have to be full time to take it forward. Because I can tell you one thing, जे पार्ट टाइम करतात ना, especially I think, sorry, but बरेच लोक पार्ट टाइम रिअल इस्टेट करतात, मॉर्गेज करतात, because it is not their only source of income. They're also not that serious, right? The burn is when, अरे मला ह्या महिन्यात माझे $4,000 आले नाहीत खर्चाला. The way you will put in your effort is lot different than, अरे मला 3,000 तर येतात, मला 1,000च कमवायचे. That makes a lot of difference. I think when you're young and when you don't have a family, it's much easier, because you could be living with friends and others and whatever. Later, it's a lot more difficult. And yeah, again, there is nothing. Just be there. I can't define, and you shouldn't define. And don't go by anybody else's say. It is your conditions are much different from your neighbor's conditions. Like it cannot be. I think at some point where you can start earning for you, which is covering your basic essentials, you can go for it.
पण तेच म्हणजे त्या ट्रान्झिशन मध्ये म्हणजे एक चॅलेंज तर हा पण आहे की माझा म्हणजे एम्प्लॉयर आहे, त्याच्यावर आपण सगळे हे साईन करतो, राईट, एनडीएज अँड वॉट एव्हर, राईट. सो ते असताना even though I may not be doing it exactly in the same field, it may be in a parallel field, he has no incentive to let me off the hook for that, right? So
yeah, you'll have to manage.
Company
you'll have to manage your time. They are not going to give you things, but you can put your foot down.
No, not only time, but let's say if I'm developing something which may have value, IP value, right? तर मग म्हणजे हे असताना when you are employed with someone, तेव्हा हे म्हणजे आपण काही वेगळं करत असलो तर they typically have a first right, typically आपल्या कॉन्ट्रॅक्ट मध्ये वगैरे मध्ये असतं. or does it really matter, or
see, I think you're looking at too much of the fine print. I don't know, which company do you work for?
Applexus म्हणून आहे, सिएटल बेस्ड आहे कंपनी.
And so it's okay. See, that is something, especially in the IT field, that's a gray area. There are companies which are just set up for suing others because of the IP value, right? So I think, what was that company? BlackBerry च्या वेळेला होता, which he kept suing. All it was is basically people who had no use of their patents put it into this company, and then whoever ever used a little bit of it, they used to go and sue them. And then because the companies were rich enough, they say, okay, settle kara. And that's how that was their business. की कोणाला जाऊन केस टाकायचे आणि थोडेसे पैसे घ्यायचे, and that used to be distributed. So you don't know. I would say, see, best is to look for something which is not in the same field. I understand with the NDAs and the IP, even I would be angry if somebody who works for me takes whatever we have developed in-house and sells it.
No, it is.
So,
I mean, of course, it's not in the same field. It's in a parallel field. पण त्यांना incentive नाही ना, म्हणजे
yeah. So then you should develop on your own. Yeah. So that should only.
Otherwise, it is independent, but they have no incentive to say, "No, it is independent." Because it's like holistic, right? Whenever they get lawyers to design it, it's more holistic.
See, if you really are doing something exceptional, for example, like you develop some prototype and others, and you should basically then resign, sit on it for 6 months, and then, because the NDA says, right, for 2 years or whatever, for 6 months you cannot do it, and then sit it out and then do it. That's the cleanest way. Don't get into too much, because hiring lawyers and defending yourself is not
Yeah,
worth
that,
it. So that
that's
is
serious.
what I would say. And yeah, they have 6 months, 2 years. I don't know what is your thing like, what your contract is like. But yeah, they can come and sue you. See, here in Canada, one thing I can tell you in dealing with the courts, yeah, you could say that it's a straightforward system, but then you have to spend money to defend yourself also.
Hmm.
And the amount of effort and time it takes away, it's not worth it. Unless once you make $1 billion and then they want a few million, you are fine. But if you're making $1 million and they sue you for 5 million, it's not worth it.
Right. किंवा म्हणजे one option is, I can maybe start it in my wife's name or something like that.
Don't ever do that.
No?
No, don't ever get into wife and all that, because they have the right to sue you. So they know. The best thing is, if you really want to do something in India where there is no jurisdiction.
Okay.
And then
But you
don't
mean
let
set up something back in India and then
let them do it, give them. But then again, don't show that trail, because if it is really something which has value and they have the right to sue you, they can come and fight you. So so basically you're moonlighting, right, and taking there, and you're basically, it's a theft. They will call it.
नाही म्हणजे हे दिस इज टोटली इंडिपेंडेंट लाईक म्हणजे माझं एसएपी ची कंपनी अँड फील्ड आहे अँड व्हॉट आय एम डुईंग इज इन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स विच इज लाईक
So then it shouldn't matter. Then they have nothing to do. As long as it is not related to what you're working there for, and you're not taking any IP or any knowledge from there, there is no right. You can do it. तू दिवसभर you are working in IT, संध्याकाळी तू बसून woodworking करतोयस. They have no right to say that you cannot do woodworking, or if you develop a new furniture that you will have to pay me a royalty for that.
राईट. पण ते म्हणजे कसं की ते थोडं फ्रिंज एरियामध्ये, कारण ते
SAP is not going to come. They are too big to come and sue you. They are not into that.
Okay.
That I can tell you. SAP is a bolt-on to कर, that is also allowed, because that's a new IP. You already met the lady who's designing new product. तिला विक ना. तिला विकून टाक जर का नवीन काहीतरी केलं असेल तर. You already met her. Mrs. Thoser ना?
Yeah, I met her.
Yeah, so.
आणि एक आणखीन होतं म्हणजे माझं पॅरलल आय थिंक बाकीच्यांनाही जो आहे तो, की लाईक हाऊ डू यू म्हणजे फर्स्ट कस्टमर किंवा त्याच्या हाऊ डू यू मार्केट, बिकॉज आय लाईक मला त्याच्यातलं शून्य ज्ञान आहे. म्हणजे कोणतं काही नवीन करतोय, फॉर एक्झाम्पल आदित्य पण जे करतोय, राईट, हाऊ डू यू गेट युअर वर्ड आउट, हाऊ डू यू
meet people. Yeah, you'll have to find like some ways of meeting people. Again, when you're selling,
I think you have to become uncomfortable. This is not your comfort level. You just have to get comfortable. Once you be 2-3 times, you'll be fine. Just that's what it is.
And I think what makes you uncomfortable when you're trying to sell something. Always remember, like I always tell this to all my students also, you have to, I don't know if you saw Wolf of Wall Street, some of the things, of course, other than everything, you have to understand, you should never sell somebody something. When you're uncomfortable, when you have to sell, what you have to do is you have to make them realize they have to buy from you.
Right.
त्यांना गरज आहे तुझ्याकडनं घ्यायचे हे तू ज्या वेळेला समजायला, दॅट डझंट नीड यू टू सेल, दॅट यू शुड नॉट बी, दॅट यू विल बी व्हेरी कम्फर्टेबल, की तुला ह्याची गरज आहे, अरे तुला हे पाहिजे का, बरं माझ्याकडे आय थिंक मी तुला हे करून देऊ शकतो, ही अरे ही इज हेल्पिंग मी, दॅट्स द काइंड ऑफ नॉलेज. आता इफ यू ट्राय टू सेल, येस मला माझ्याकडे हे छान आहे, हे छान आहे, हे छान आहे, असं नाही. म्हणजे माझ्याकडे मुलगी चांगली आहे म्हणून मग बिचारा तो बाप सगळीकडे जातो, पण दुसरीकडे जाऊन तुला लग्न करायचंय का, माझ्याकडे मुलगी असू शकते, असं केल्यावर मग तो मुलगा लाईक यू डोंट हॅव टू सेल. आय एम गिव्हिंग अ बॅड अनालॉजी, बट so always try to find a way that you are meeting the need of somebody else's requirement. Then it's much easier to go and talk to them. And in your young age, you should be meeting people, not online, physical. The COVID झालं, because you will discuss, and there's a lot of body language and all that you will get into. Go into the forums where you think there are, for example, if your product is needed, for example, in mining industry, you have nothing to do with mining, but then go and attend their conferences. Meet people. It's always good. Like, see, in a conference, the best part is you don't have to meet somebody, just do small talk, right? तुम्ही त्याच्या बूथवर जाता, त्याच्याबरोबर त्याच्या प्रॉडक्ट बद्दल विचारता, ही इज ऑल्सो टेलिंग, मग त्याच्यामध्ये यू स्टार्ट टॉकिंग टू हिम अबाउट व्हॉट यू कॅन डू. Whereas it's much easier to deal with them.
Yeah, to ask questions and to give statements.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll kind of ideate it a bit more, and then I'll come back with more questions.
Yeah. We can have this constantly every other week or every month. We can keep having this, and we can refine more. It's more about helping, right?
Yeah, Harshal, Salil again.
बोला.
I don't know आता वेळ आहे की नाही त्याच्यावर बोलायला, but मला जस्ट एक क्युरियोसिटी होती. Normally, seed funding किंवा हे normally how do you work it out if you have an idea in your head where to approach for any sort of funding or any investor who can actually at least listen to your idea, even if it doesn't. That's okay.
No, if you want to go to a venture capital, yeah, I'm all ears. I'll listen. I'll at least help you be prepared for a venture capital because I can tell you all the 15 different things. See, किसी को भी आपको पैसा क्यों देना है? उसको पैसा बनाना है करके. Nobody wants to give you चंदा. वो charity में देता है, उसको भी कुछ तो expected होता है, कहीं तो उसका नाम होता है. So when it comes to seed funding, first of all, you have to identify when are you going to return it to them. What is happening is most of the IT industry and whatever has happened with Facebook, वो सब तुक्का था. Those were really shot in the dark, right? Don't think that everybody is going to be like that. If you tell that, okay, if you take $1 million, you need $1 million. Like today itself, I was reviewing one of my very close friends. He sent me something saying, okay, he needs to raise $1.25 million. I quickly asked him, what are you going to use it for? How am I going to get my 1.25 million back with some returns? If he cannot answer, I'm not going to give him my money. Why should I give him whatever money I've earned?
Right.
So when it comes to seed funding, you should be very clear where that money is going to be used and how are you going to return it to them. And what happens with many of the guys who do all this on paper is you never think about the end game. सबको 10 मिलियन रेस करना है, बट अरे तू 10 मिलियन वापस कैसे देगा? ते सगळेजण विचार म्हणजे तुम्ही अक्षरशः म्हणजे मला तर असं वाटतं की जे आपले इंडियात दुकान चालवतात ना, गल्ले में पैसा आया, गल्ले से पैसा खर्च किया. If you cannot meet that requirement, गल्ले में you can't bring money from outside, right? So if you have an idea, how are you going to create a return even for yourself? How are you going to pay yourself $100,000 or $50,000? Is it possible? Don't think that the VC will give you money thinking यार यहाँ से पैसा ले ले. वो सॉफ्ट बैंक वगैरह वो देता है, but somewhere he makes money.
Okay.
So you have to be like ready to answer that. Like I'll ask you this question: in 3 years, if I give you $1 million, can you give me $2 million back?
Yeah, that's something. I understand where you're going. Actually, it's more of a business plan which you have to put forward to see.
Yeah.
But I just want to, मी काय बघतोय की that idea which I have in my head, I don't want की आताच मला कोणतरी investor हवा आहे किंवा, but someone to listen to me and just at least tell me that this looks something feasible. आणि me to open the idea, I don't want to discuss with everyone, right? Because that's something which I want. So
yeah, some of us can help give you years. Like so, see one thing. See, okay, there are three. Okay, to raise money, there are 3 F's: friends, family, and fools. Okay, so we are not family. We could be friends or fools. So if you have to make a fool out of us, you have to have your story very nicely prepared. When you think of it and think like you have an idea. What is the market? Are there competitors? How are you going to make something different? Okay, and if you have money, let's say, even if you think of seed funding, finally it has to come that you are going to generate a profit. Unless you can answer that yourself, you shouldn't be going in front of them. If you want to run an idea by us, yeah, well and good, but before you run it, just put it down on paper की आज मी 100,000 घेतले, मी नंतर हे स्टेज आहे, मग हे स्टेज. At least in your mind you should be clear how you're going to do it.
Okay.
And always tell us who are your competitors, because that will help you understand whether you're doing something new. And
Okay.
who's your customer.
Okay.
And even in IT industry, people think of, oh, I have an idea. And I think of it from a perspective of, let's say, माझ्या आजूबाजूचे 10 लोक, but may not be the rest of the world doesn't need that solution.
Correct.
Right? So you have to think of that, and also understand the market. Like if you're going to sell it to, let's say, this demographic, आपल्याकडे starts Canada, even India मध्ये पण you have all this, numbers. You should be able to identify की out of 120 crores मी at least 1,20,000 लोकांना तरी हे विकू शकेल.
Right.
So you have to do a lot of hard work. Yes, like I can tell you, the first business I spent about 3 months in the libraries and everything, just understanding where my customers are going to be and who it is. And I didn't leave my job till I had my first paying proper customer. म्हणजे मला फंडिंग मिळालं होतं फ्रॉम गव्हर्नमेंट ऑफ कॅनडा, बट आय डिडंट लीव अ जॉब बिकॉज दॅट वॉज नॉट इनफ. Once I had a paying customer, then I left.
Correct.
I think the competitive analysis सेवरे tools पण आहेत ना. I mean, I use one of that tools for industries. It helps you to kind of go like, okay, I mean, you think something, but when you put it on the paper, you can start thinking about, okay, who is your competitor, what they make, how they do, what are their gaps.
So
Definitely.
थिंकिंग मी थोडा कम्फर्ट झोन मधून बोलतोय, कारण मी या फील्ड मध्येच आहे. IT वर्किंग बँकिंग फॉर ऑलमोस्ट लाईक 25 years now, राईट. आणि मी एक सर्टन व्हॉट यू से फीचरवर काम केलेलं, जे आता कॅनडामध्ये इट्स प्रेटी न्यू आणि US मध्ये पण अजून पेनिट्रेट झालं नाहीये. आणि आय जस्ट फेल्ट की देयर इज लॉट ऑफ स्कोप building on that feature. But the thing is that to get into that market, because you're dealing with bigger banks, okay, even though you have the idea, you don't know how you will penetrate in that market. So that's a bigger concern. Second point is that this idea might sell well outside of Canada, maybe in developing countries, but we don't know how to approach there, how to get there, because it's really a good idea what I'm talking about. But हे सगळे अजूनही ग्रे एरिया आहेत, दॅट you just have the idea in there, but you don't know how to take this further. That's where it is stuck.
See, about banks and others, you may think of them as large organizations, but they're relatively easier to penetrate by talking to people. For example, if you have a product, I can always put you in touch with ICICI Bank here. ICICI Bank Canada is independent, small bank, but I can put you in touch with their whole IT CFO, CIO also. And I can call him and you can. But then you have to be ready. I won't call him unless, like, every new product that they launch, they first test it with us because we are one of their largest customers. And I test out all their new products before it is implemented to the market. So I have access, and of course, from our staff, we provide them first-hand feedback. So free way testing हो जाता है हमारे यहाँ पे. So there are all these relationships which some of us have. Like I think somebody else had information. I think Ratnapake or whatever. Somebody who had bank access. So we can give you all that. But see, an idea, if you have thought, I always say, हमें लगता है, आपल्याला वाटतं की आपणच नवीन आहोत, पण नाही, बरेच ठिकाणी ते झालेलं असतं. आता आय टेल यू अ सिम्पल थिंग, UPI इंडियात चालतं, ते इथे चालायला अशक्य आहे. का तर इथे प्रायव्हसी लॉज आर टू मच. इथे कुठलीही गव्हर्नमेंट एजन्सीकडे आपला आयरिस स्कॅन आणि थंब स्कॅन जाऊ शकणार नाही. देर आर लॉज प्रोहिबिटिंग, म्हणून ते UPI इथे इम्प्लिमेंट होणे अशक्यच आहे. हा, ऑन द अदर साइड गुगलकडे आपले थंब प्रिंट्स आहेत सगळ्यांचे, विच इज अनदर प्रॉब्लेम. But they are bypassing. But when it comes to a financial institution, it won't happen. There are lots of other things which are there. You have to run it by it. Canada, if you want to go to US, there are much smaller banks, much easier to implement because they're all independent, small banks. So you can get in touch with them, go and deliver. And never think that if there is a solution that is good, that you won't get the eyes and ears to look at it. And I think आपल्याला ना, hey, banking industry, I can tell you because I used to work in Deloitte. You think from outside that things are simple. Internally खूप complex असतात. So there are lots
Correct.
of things which will restrict us penetrating and like your product to be implemented.
Correct. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So you may have an idea, but yeah, reach out to people, go meet them, try it out. And developing world, yeah, Africa, like Kenya, Uganda, you can penetrate all those markets to try out.
You said it now. I think I was focusing on those sort of countries. जी लोग अजूनही they're backward in terms even.
I won't say backward. I won't say backward. Never ever underestimate that humans are not chalu.
No, I'm not saying backward. I said I'm not.
So I'm telling you, even if you go to, for example, Kenya, I can tell you the days when SMS and all that were, they used to do SMS banking much better than even India because they didn't have any other network to communicate. The only thing was SMS. Nothing else used to work. तर त्यांनी SMS banking एवढं छान केलं होतं की India was far behind when I was like going between Kenya and India. But of course, then India मध्ये data became so prevalent that but SMS banking I've seen only in Kenya happening. म्हणजे अक्षरशः SMS वरती सगळं काय करायचे ते जे इंडियात आय डोंट थिंक एव्हर इम्प्लिमेंट ते आपण डायरेक्ट डिजिटल आणि UPI वर गेलो बट या दे वो चालू लोग है सर सोचो मत कि नहीं है so yeah you should try out.
No, but when you're saying that you should be ready, you mean ready with the product or at least with the entire business plan of how this model is going to work? And I mean, ready is the definition when you're approaching.
You should have a prototype. If it is IT, you should have a prototype and at least put a few things together. You have so many online labs where you could test out things like so we should have it. We should have the interface created because those are all simple things you can do right now. Don't wait for somebody to invest for you to do it. Other than the final connections to the bank's interfaces, you should be ready for it. Even though some of them are open APIs, so use some open API, demonstrate that it can happen.
Okay, so that should be okay.
Yeah. I think we are at the last 5 minutes. I think we can go on.
I'm good, yeah, but so helpful. Yeah, I mean, it was really nice. मला खरंच हे प्रश्न होते. And that was the primary reason I joined this call, so that at least I get some sort of information. But thanks.
Canada, you can try out a lot. Do it, but do it. Like don't say that oh माझ्या डोक्यात आहे पण कधी लिहिलं नाही की कधी केलं नाही. Just go ahead and do it. We have enough time. We just have to allocate it properly.
Correct. Yeah, that's true.
Okay. Any final questions? So how often do you want to keep this?
Sorry, I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's sort of we're sort of towards the end of our time, but maybe I'll still ask. I was thinking of what you said when I asked you my question. Try different things and do what you love. Don't do something that'll give you satisfaction. But isn't part of like entrepreneurship or starting a business you're there to make money? Like I respectfully want to challenge your thoughts.
Okay.
Like I'm like I'll be honest. Like and I don't mind being
I
judged.
understand.
Judged by anyone. Like I want to make money too.
Yeah. But okay. So what happens is when you go for money as the first instinct, if you don't make too much money, see, you will be disappointed. You may be successful, but not make a lot of money. You'll make little money, but it can keep growing. You will make money finally. Like whatever I control, I don't think I take enough money, but I know that the company's net worth and it helps me live nice, like decently. Whenever I need, I can deploy funds here and there. And you will understand. I think म्हणजे आपल्या मराठीत हे वैराग्य येतं वगैरे नॉलेज आल्यावर ते म्हणजे खरंच आहे वन्स यू स्टार्ट गेनिंग अँड यू गेट कम्फर्टेबल विथ युअर बिझनेस यू वॉन्ट इवन टेक मनी यू reinvest, right? So making money, first thing, how do you say you have money? It's either as cash or as assets, right?
Correct.
Right. So if you have, let's say, if you are asset rich and cash poor, are you rich or no?
Asset rich and cash poor.
Like let's say you have two houses which are total net worth is $10 million. You have three cars which are $1 million. So you have all these assets, but you have no money sitting in the bank, what happens? Are you a rich person or a poor person? You don't have money to put gas.
But you can leverage your assets to get money from elsewhere.
Correct. So that means, and you will leverage only if you need it. तुम्हारे पास अगर उस दिन $5,000 है, तेरे को गैस भरना है, तो तू जाके तेरा घर वापस मॉर्गेज नहीं करेगा.
Right.
Right? So it's asset rich, cash poor. So that is what every businessman is. He's asset. Why do you do a business? Why don't you just, play on stocks and bonds? Because what happens in stocks and bonds is it's all liquid cash, which you implement, you take it out, but you don't have an asset created. When you become a businessman, you create assets. You keep on creating. Because if you ever need to leverage, you can quickly leverage them and buy something which is more productive. Business is about generating revenue. It's not about taking money out. Okay. I think the more, I think it will complicate. You will make money. It's not that you won't make money, but it will be in different forms. It won't be like, अरे मेरे बैंक में ना $2 million है, पर मैं करूँगा क्या? I think Raj is still thinking, but I think we'll take it up next time. It's a more philosophical discussion than nothing. You will make money. Money is just that. It's not in cash. It will be more as assets. So that is what you have to think of.
No, I will definitely do
Yeah.
a little more research and think about this. So thank you so much for your time, everyone. Really, it was a great discussion.
Sure. I think it's 9 o'clock. I just want to keep it, otherwise we can go on and on. So I think thank you all. Made the discussion lively. And I think आपण महिन्यातनं एकदा की 2 आठवड्यातनं एकदा ठेवूया हे.
I mean, if you ask me, probably महिन्यातनं एकदा make more sense.
त्याचं आपण एक कॅलेंडर बनवूया मला वाटतं हर्षल.
हो. आपण कारण महिन्यातनं एकदा ठेवूया आणि मग नंतर पाहिजे तर वी कॅन रीच आउट टू इच अदर आणि then we can set up. आमचं अजून जे फेसबुक वगैरे काय आहे, वी हॅवंट येट फायनलाइज की टोरॉन्टो चॅप्टर कसं फॉर्म होईल.
हो, ते वर्क करतोय त्याच्यावर.
Once it is done, we'll let you know.
आपण
But otherwise, right now, I think WhatsApp group is going. It's like 110 members now or something.
Yeah.
We'll continue with that.
Yeah.
And welcome. You can send out. I may not or whatever. We may not respond immediately, but definitely as soon as we can have time, we'll let you know. But yeah, go ahead. Do something. आता मला कोकम सरबत प्यायला कधी मिळतंय ते आता मी विचार करतोय.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Harshal Babu and everyone.
Thank you everybody.
Thank you so much. Wonderful discussion.
Thank you, Harshal. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Harshal, thank you. Good night.
Yeah, good night.